Welcome, this is Tom Rush, Rush Reviews. Today we have for you a K-bar, a little last ditch, or otherwise known as the last ditch, TLD, which is a little last ditch defense knife or blade that is a fixed blade. It's only a tiny little one, and when they say last ditch, it really is. This is not something that I ever bought as a defensive weapon. It was really just bought as a little blade to keep on you to do little chores, and it's pretty good for that. I will admit there's others that I've bought since that have served that purpose maybe a little bit better than this one, but it's still a little nice little fella. Look at that's the little markings on it there. It also has that on the other side, 1478 Taiwan, and a nice little one. You can use it as a necker. You can it comes with this little it's not Kydex, it's plastic, and good plastic though, but certainly not that Kydex sound. But it's pretty straightforward. A little rectangle, and you just slide it in like so, and it's like so. And it's I think set up for, let's say you've got your shoe or your boot, and basically you just sort of, you can imagine being like that down on the front of your shoe, and all that way would be better. And you just sort of pull that out. But it is, if you were using it as any sort of defensive weapon, then you would need to make sure you knew how to use it properly, that's for sure. I certainly wouldn't use it for that, but to each their own. And I guess if you had to, or you're a police officer or something like that, the idea, I believe, with this one is that let's say it's on the left there, it's just sort of a case of, to somebody's going for your gun or something like that. I think the idea is that you prod them away with this thing or slash them. I'm not exactly sure, but there's probably videos out there that show you how to use this, and if not, you should get some tactical defense training. But it's certainly a very basic little fella, but by the same token, it is useful. I just can't speak too much about the usefulness for its intended purpose. But as I say, it can be put in a boot. It can be put in the you can attach it any way you see fit to your belt, to your pocket, to fifth carry pocket, the small pocket in your jeans or whatever you could put it in. Look, as I say, I haven't really used this too much, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway. I bought it many years ago, I think for about $17 or something, $17 from out of the US, and it was just a little extra one that I bought to throw in there to try out. And as I say, it didn't get much use, but it's not to say it shouldn't have. It probably should have. But it's a 9CR18 is the steel that this one is. What is that? I don't exactly know, but it's a stainless steel, I believe, and it hasn't rusted, so that's kind of testament to the stainless, considering that I've probably had it 14 years, and they're still making the same one now. It's got a little drainage hole, you can see that there in the sheath there. But it's still being made today, which is good. It's got a Rockwell hardness of 58 to 59 CR, and the blade thickness on this is 0.078, but I'll give it a measure on the calibers here. What do you got? 2.1, so roughly 2 mil thick, this little fella. It's very, very pokey. So it's got the very, very stabby, very pokey. Would definitely hurt a lot. The overall blade length you're looking at is 1 3/4 inch, 3.5 inch overall from there to there. Let's sit in the palm of my hand, and you're looking at a flat grind on that blade. Oh yeah, it's definitely pokey. Yeah, flat grind on the blade there. See, it's you can see that, but it's sloped both sides there, sharpened both sides, right? And the they call this for the sheath a moulded black composition sheath. Now, composed of what? Plastic, I'd say. The edge has an angle of 18 degrees, so yeah, that's for a 2 mil blade. That's not exactly all that impressive, but it's pretty slicey, and it will definitely cut. I think the idea is if let's say you've got your hands cable tied or whatever, you're restrained. I think the idea is that you can just sort of get it in, widen it out a bit. Yeah, you can sort of get in there and sort of cut the cable tie off and set yourself free. But yeah, you know, if you're into that sort of thing, it's terrific. Or you find yourself in a pickle. The designer is John Benner, and he's the president and chief instructor of the Tactical Defence Institute. So they train up police and all that sort of thing to get them proficient in the use of weapons and defence training. Yeah, it's certainly not a great deal to talk about with this one. I would say that it's pretty uncomfortable when you're holding it like that. You can sort of definitely feel this fella digging in to your fingers, because it's a very skinny blade and skinny stock of metal that they're using there, but woodwork, very pointy, as I say. It'd get you to release a gun if they tried to grab it. But I think the idea is that it's last ditch, being that if they take your gun until you get your gun back, this is like your probably second or third line of defence, and that's about it. It's not offering a whole lot more than that. But if you hold it in a reverse grip, it becomes very, very, very nasty, as you can see. Certainly you wouldn't want that coming at you. It would definitely be a horrifying event if this thing was if you're punching and you're on the receiving end. It would definitely be very, very painful and do a lot of damage, I'd imagine. So I think the idea is that if you do this and it digs in, you pull away, pull across like that, and it slices the offender, so to speak. So yeah, as I say, I've never used it for anything like that, nor would I. I live here in Australia, and in Australia you would be in prison so fast you wouldn't know what hit you. So we've got quite a crackdown on all sorts of any sort of not all sorts and every sort of blade. You're not allowed to carry any blades on you. So it really is just a case of use it at home, but don't take it out with you. So this sort of thing would well and truly be frowned upon, and you would be charged if you're found with this in your possession. So that's how it is in Australia, and yeah, that's just the way it is. So you're looking at did I mention the blade thickness? It's 0.0078 of an inch or 2.1. Yes, I did 2 mil thick, but I did mention that. And the designer, John Benner, congratulations to him on coming up with something that apparently took over a year to design this one. And good on him for coming up with something that'll work for law enforcement and give them the ability to get out of a sticky situation. So well done to John and to K-Bar for taking on his design and manufacturing these. At the time when I bought this, like I say, it was $17 US, and now they haven't gone up much. They're $15 to $25 US when I had a look. The Australian price I also had a look at, and you're looking at $60 to $90 Australian. Yes, you heard that right, $60 to $90. So that quite literally is excessive, to say the least. I just don't know. It's enough to make you cry, honestly. To be a person who loves knives, and to have had a father who was his hobby used to be making knives, and so I've been brought up with it. It's definitely hurts to have to pay the dollars that you have to pay here in Australia, especially when I see all the time in the US the coolest looking knives and blades that you could imagine, and not only are they not in Australia, so hence you have to import them. If you do import them, 90% of what you import will be taken away from you at customs, and you'll never see that purchase because it'll be confiscated, along with a letter telling you that you've been naughty and you shouldn't be importing that. So, and then you walk into a disposal store, army disposal surplus store or whatever, and you'll see the same one that you tried to import sitting there for sale on the shelf, but for whatever reason, you weren't allowed to buy it by importing it. You're only allowed to buy it off the shelf. It just doesn't make any sense. But I'm not here to complain about that. I'm just here to show you what I've got here. So that's it. There's not a lot else I can say, other than it's black, powder coated, and it's a handy little fella. And very sharp. You could wear it as a neck knife, but I just choose to keep it in the collection, just a little bit of a talking piece. But certainly could be put to a lot better use. But hey, there you go. I hope you like that. Keep up the hobby. As long as you're not out there doing any nasties to anybody else, and you're using them for their intended purpose, then keep enjoying it, okay? And it's as good a hobby as any other, and if your job requires it, then if you're me, you'd feel pretty lucky that you actually needed one, if the job was cutting up boxes or whatnot. Nothing too serious. But yeah, look, all right. If you could leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content like this, be very much appreciated. Please leave a comment if you've got something to say. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, catch you then. Thank you.